I'm going to explain to you why your life feels boring, pointless, and like your soul is slowly dying inside. It's because it is. All of that stuff is true. Your life is boring, it does feel pointless, and you do feel like you've lost touch with your soul, who you are deep down, because you have. Here's how it happened. It happened very slowly, and it was over the course of many years. And so you never realized it was happening. You just called it school. You called it growing up, being an adult, being responsible, being doing what you're supposed to do. And so by the time you realized something's wrong, it was already too late. The program had been installed. You had been put to sleep inside of the matrix. We know this is the truth because we all look back on our childhood, simpler times, you know, moments where we could just laugh and just do things for the sake of doing them, enjoying life, playing, building something for hours with no other purpose other than to just have fun. That's how we were truly created by God to live. What happens is this sort of behavior, childlike wonder, it's not profitable for the machine, for corporations. It's not the best, it's the best thing for them to leave you just, curious and wondering. They put you to sleep. Society puts you to sleep because everyone has been asleep. Asleep people don't like unasleep people because you threaten their illusion. So someone who has is really grounded, is can see through bullshit, is at peace with themselves, doesn't need other people's approval, doing their own thing, doesn't keep up with the Joneses. Just someone like that. People who are fake and they're asleep and they're just pretending. They hate being around those kinds of people. They hate it. So the Matrix had to put you to sleep for their own sanity. They can't have a bunch. They can't have you running around. They need the future workers, the future cogs in the machine. And so there's nothing wrong with being put to sleep in the Matrix, right? There's nothing wrong with realizing like, oh my gosh, like my life, it sucks and it's not what it should be, right? I think the problem comes is when you believe that the mask is you. You can't take it off. You get so far into it that you believe your own bullshit. You're like, yeah, people like that, right? Like salesmen and stuff like that. Like they just believe their own lies. They believe their own patheticness. That in lies the problem. So if you're watching this and you're like, man, something's wrong. Like I feel hollow. I feel unalive. Like it feels like, why does it feel like my life should have been something more? There's something more out there, because there is something more. It should have been something more. There is something more that you should be doing. I felt the same exact thing. I could tell you this. I felt it my entire life. I felt it my entire life. I've had these spiritual experiences, moments when I would look up at the stars and be like, God, break me out of this boring existence. This cannot be all life is, right? Like, why do I have to wait to die to go to heaven? You don't actually. Jesus says it. He says, um, you know, I come to give you life and life to the fullest. So you don't have to die to go to heaven. You can wake up inside heaven right now. That's when I realized I was like, how do then I achieve that? Well, again, if the mystics talk about it, the Sufis talk about it, Buddha talks about it, it's written throughout history on how to achieve return to the heaven now, the Christ consciousness. What I have found for me is to get out of the pressure cooker. The West is, and I mean, the entire world has its own problems. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this way of life is the best life that exists. It works for me. It helped me. It's helping me heal my central nervous system and clean out a bunch of the noise that was in my life. But the place might be different for everyone. Some people, it might be somewhere else. I don't know. But the general theme that you have to understand is that if you want to achieve this peace, you have to go into nature. It's really hard in a city. It's loud. It's just, there's a lot of problems with cities. And I think that every single person wishes they could enjoy nature. I mean, even city slickers drive up into the countries, right? So every human being loves nature. The thing is when you are able to reconnect with nature, put your phone down, just sit out in nature, the jungle, get a hammock, right? It's kind of like I'm living now. Something happens. Like, you're able to then start to see what you've never been able to see. Your ego softens, and you start to kind of regain that childlike wonder. You start to look and see, maybe I can climb this tree. I wonder if I could. Maybe I could build a fort again. Maybe I could build a hut. Maybe I could take this hammock and put it over to the creek. What if I went swimming, snorkel diving? You know, things you would think about when you were a kid, like building dams and building forts and, like, you know, building huts and stuff, like kid things that, like, building thing. I don't know. You know, what are kid things? That starts to happen again when you get out in nature. It's really, really exciting. Anyway, I found that once I sold everything and got out and lived a simpler life, what happened was that like 95% of my bandwidth was able to be freed up so I could do things I never even dreamed of, like building a tech company, meditating, like making it a daily practice in my life. Stuff like that would have never been able to happen in the West, especially not in America, man. The Matrix is the thickest in America. It's the most ego. People are the most fragmented, the most triggered and politically driven, hate filled. You got to get somewhere, you know, get to a jungle, get to an island, go to Alaska, go somewhere off grid if you can. Take your shoes off, start grounding with the earth again. That's huge. Start eating meals that are, you know, one ingredient meals, meat, vegetables. Eat fruit off of a tree if you can. Every day I like to pick a coconut and drink the coconut milk right out of the coconut. You know, something to it. There's something to all this stuff. Cook on an open fire. Cook real meat on an open fire. Sit and listen to the rain when it happens. Just sit on the porch and listen to the rain. All of this stuff heals you. Heals your central nervous system. Puts you back in sync with nature. So I'm going to stop the video here. If you like this video, smash the subscribe button, smash the like button. If you struggle with bothersome ringing in the ears, or you're just curious of the app that I coded, hit the link in the description, tinnituscompanion.com. It's all of the principles that I practiced: meditation, thought journaling, reconnecting with your true inner self has helped me overcome profound anxiety. And this application is built for bothersome ringing in the ears or people with tinnitus anxiety. You know, so if that's your thing, you have that going on, this application can help you. I'll talk to you later. Peace.